Well, good day, everybody. Here we go again. So hard to believe that we are well underway for leg 4 of the Ocean Globe Race. It's the 6th of March. Even that's hard to comprehend. It's March. The year will be over before we know it. Anyway, all is going well, and it's been an amazing stopover and an amazing start as well. Great weather we had, which was a lot of fun. And good sailing conditions, obviously a big swell. We saw some big sets come through in the bay when we were out in the boat. You probably saw some of the galleries and the start live, maybe. It was a lot of fun. It was full on. It was a constant sort of 2.5 to 3 metre, but every now and then you'd get a 4 or even bigger with a bit vertical as well. So we had lots of fun, got nailed on a few occasions, and got some good photos. Certainly entrants were looking at us as if we were looking to them, and it was kind of fun. You've probably read about the man overboard situation. There's not a lot more we can tell you at the moment. For some reason, Penjuic have decided not to advise us what happened and who was involved and so on. We're assuming it all ended well with no injury and so on. But as I say, we're still a little bit in the dark. We got a confirmation from Helsinki. We first heard the radio call from Maiden, put out a call about man overboard. And then there was a period of confusion. We were working with Aviro at the yacht club. He alerted the prefecture here, local rescue people, because the conditions were actually too intense for us to go out in our rib. We couldn't do anything. We heard the call, but we had 4 in the boat, and it was quite rough. And it got rougher as you got out around that area, but we're still even not totally sure exactly where it happened on the course. So anyway, we'll update you as soon as we know. We'll let you know what the details are. And Evrika had an absolute classic. They speared with their bowsprit one of the marker boys there, one of the harbour boys. And the photo that we saw, I don't know how they got out of it and whether they damaged the bowsprit and so on. I'm not sure. Apparently they were getting squeezed by Triana. Triana was right beside the boat. If you can see in the photo, you'll see Triana behind the sails there. So we're yet to discover exactly what that was. The first thing we heard, that there was a collision between Evrika and Triana. That was our first indicator, but by the look of the pictures, there may not have been a collision with the 2 boats. It was just potentially that harbour boy. So that was that one. And then we were actually coming to the end of our tether in the rib that we were filming the live from, and we noticed Explorer not making the mark, the first eastern mark. And I said at the time, I said, they're not going to make it. They're going to have to throw a tack. Sure enough, they threw the tack, and I just assumed that would be the end of it. So we then bailed out, pulled away, and we're heading back. But if you look shortly after that, if you look on the live, if you're interested, I said to Jane, we were going to sign off. I said, hey, Jane, put the camera back here, and Ada and I will sign off. And while they did that, you can just see Explorer up in the top on the horizon. And it looks very much like they were very close to the mark, couldn't do it, put a toss in. They were drawing with just the main and the mizzen, but they were still fluffing around with furling up the Genoa to get it around the inner forestay. And you can see them sort of stalling. And I think what may have happened, this is just an assumption because it's hard to see, I think they maybe decided that just the momentum of the boat might have got them past that beacon. So rather than complete the tack, they might have then gone back again and then either stalled the tack and then not allowing for the current that came down. Apparently, Georgie saw it, and she said it was quite a significant contact. The boat went right up on the buoy and came down on it, slid off the side, went all the way down the hull. So we've had a report that it's only apparently cosmetic damage, and Mark's going to buy me some polish, but something tells me it might be a little bit more than that. Anyway, so that was the main deal. It was great sailing, it looked good. And the drone shots are pretty interesting. The funniest thing of the day, which we'll show you later on, you can see it if you watch the live. I forget what section it was. It was about 6 minutes in. We got a splashback wave. So we were alongside White Shadow. Everything's looking good. And, I was driving very close because we're using a GoPro, not the main camera. And also Ada's filming and photographing. And we got the splashback from the bow when it rammed down. So it's like shooting the water out. So Rob's filming with the GoPro and Jane is in front of him. And he got some great vision of Jane trying to get the camera out of the way, but just got nailed. And in the actual live, you see it coming. I said, oh, no. And we got walloped with a big one. So it's a very funny piece of footage and photographs and so on, which we'll get around to later. But yeah, we damaged a bit of gear, but not too bad. And we all had fun. It was good to have Ada back, helping with the commentary and everything. So yeah, it was a lot of adrenaline when we all got in. We thought, well, that was pretty cool. It was a big day. The photo was fun. On the dock, getting rid of everyone, just waving goodbye. The locals loved it. The club love it. I mean, they think the Ocean Road Race is just something very special, and we think this place is pretty special too. So that bodes well for the future. Anyway, so there's nothing more to tell you on that one. So I'm going to go right to the tracker. What we're going to work on two. The main explanation is on the actual leg 4, planning and results and so on. Okay, as we go forward, but then we'll always be able to link across to the rankings overall for the whole race. But I think it's important that we treat each leg as their individual races. But at the end of each tracker session, I'll link to the IRC rank overall, so we can have a good look at what's actually interplaying in terms of the finish line. So here we go. I've got to work out which one now. Got 2 to choose from. It's that one. All right, you should be hearing me and seeing me, and this is the current tracker. I can push that up a little bit. There we go. And Villa Maiden's done a blinder as well. Explorer, you probably saw, is way over here. So Explorer wasn't very far behind Spirit of Helsinki because of the run line. And I'm thinking, what the hell are they doing over there? Because everyone was in printing weather maps from the office for the next 5 days or something. Explorer didn't, and Sterner didn't. But anyway, interestingly, Explorer's taken the inshore route. And in fact, Mark is renowned for hugging coastlines in the Golden Globe. But there may be some method in his madness at the moment. And I'm interested to see Maiden's already taken a blinder over that way as well. And it may actually pay dividends, because you'll see what's going to happen in a minute with the weather. So having been frustrated at seeing what the bloody hell's Explorer doing out over there, it may not be a bad move going forward. So we'll see. Anyway, Penduic, 9.8 knots. So how fast is Explorer? She's going to be doing 4 knots. 2.3 knots. Oh, maybe it's not a good idea. Anyway, so Penduic is doing 9.8 knots, heading out to the east pretty solidly. 192 mile day, which is pretty cool. Right behind her is translated 9.1 knots, 184 nautical mile day. So head to head. And Spirit of Helsinki, 9 knots and 181 nautical mile day. I'd say all 3 of them are covering each other, because with this race, you don't want to go out to a different system. So, who knows what? They're taking a punt. I'm not sure whether they're talking on the radio yet. But anyway, they're as a group, the 3 of them, and that's pretty hot potato, except for Maiden taking a blinder up here. So kind of interesting. So Maiden's currently doing 7.7 and 196 mile day. Maybe not necessarily in the right direction, but by the look of it, it is. It's right along the run line, and now it's all coming up here. So that's looking pretty good. They're onto something as well. So the Esprit de Keep, 9.2 knots, 186 mile day. Evrika, 7 knots and 173 mile day. We've got Sterner right next to Evrika, which is pretty impressive, 7.5 knots and 169 nautical mile day. Galliana with Secure, 186 mile day and doing 8.6 knots. Outlaw, 9 knots, 194 mile day, and that's pretty cool. They're moving well. Neptune, 8.7 and 197 mile day. Triana, 8.2 and 186 mile day. White Shadow, 6.1, taking the middle ground, 175 mile day. And we did Maiden, they've done 196 mile day. And Explorer has only done 151 mile day, so the least coverage and all the rest of it, and they've really slowed up. There's nothing happening there. So what's the game plan from here? Let's have a look at the potential weather going forward. So I think that's easy to see. And here we go. If we just start pushing this forward, you can see there now, there's the start of a high pressure system forming here. And that will just get stronger as we come across. So there we go. And everything on the left-hand side of this high pressure, the center's opening up to the top, is going to be headwinds. So there's light headwinds coming. Now, Penduic, if they tried to struggle to get across the other side, This is only in about 12 hours or so, or less than that. You can see that it's going to be hard to get away from the centre, but you might get lucky. Just depends. That's still the 7th. That's still late tomorrow night. You're going to be dropping off here into nothingness. So they might park later on if they keep on this course. However, the other guys here on the other side, depending on where this centre goes, could do okay on this side of the track. If you're over here and you got to do a track across, it's an absolute waste of time. But you might just be able to hold it, and you'll at least have some winds to play with, And so if you're there, you might be able to drop off, and cut across. So let's see what's happening to the high. Yeah, okay. So again, probably the best you could hope for, this is actually 8, so it's 2 days ahead, is to be hooked up in here and have light headwinds. But these guys could park down here, whereas at least they're headwinds, but at least you've got winds. So it might mean that you're coming out here at that stage and then tack back across again or whatever. I don't know. It's all a bit average. So, but certainly when you're doing 2.5 knots for Explorer, it's not going anywhere fast. And middle ground is probably going to be the place to be. But I think that these three, Penjuik and Helsinki and so on, they're taking a bit of a risk there because might not get very far in that high, but they know what they're doing. And if anyone prepares better than anyone else for their weather forecasting and routing on shore before they leave, it's got to be one of these three. And Triana, I know Sebastian would be working really hard. So where was Triana? There she is. Yeah, middle ground. Probably hedging their bets. Okay, this is a pretty simple one. But having done that, this is the tracker for the leg 4. Okay, and it's got leg 4 results as well. Let's just have a look. Forget about line on us. They're a bit all over the place. We'll go straight to IRC. Okay, so IRC overall, that's what you're looking at there now. And Triana's leading, Neptune, then Galliana with Secure, Outlaw, all within a few hours of each other. So translated 9, Esprit de Keep, White Shadow, Stern. So that's how you can see what's going on there. If I come back now to the live, and I'm going to swap over to the other tracker, and the other one is set up for, now if I come over here, okay, so this one's purely set up as a leaderboard situation, or it's what I've got. This is the combined results leaderboard. So you're looking at exactly the same things there. Explorer still doing 2.5 knots. But if I go to the leaderboard over here, I've got to push that up. Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm not using the mouse. Everyone will be saying it's too bloody noisy. So I'll come across here to the leaderboard. And so what you've got now is this is IRC. These results are provisional. Refer to the website for official results. All times in IRC, and this is actually the elapsed time for the whole course. You need to play around with this a bit to show you the corrections, and when they're talking about time on the water, it includes the actual days in port up until departure here, because it's the only way that we could work the program to give us the correct results. So then it's subtracted off once that happens, and what you end up with is the likely IRC finishing scenario for this far down the leg 4. All right, so in leg 4, overall, not leg 4, this is overall for all 3 legs of the race so far, and now working live time for leg 4. So Triana's still leading at 185 days, and then they've got a huge jump on Maiden, who is 5, 6, 7 days, nearly a week behind. Now that's going to be pretty impossible to catch, but let's wait and see. So behind that is Galliana with Secure, only about 4 hours behind, 4 or 5 hours. And then Spirit of Helsinki, which is another couple of days behind. So you draw a bit of a line there when you look at that sort of result. So you've got Galliana with Secure, Maiden and Triana are the 3 boats to watch to get for overall IRC winner. They start to ramp up pretty steeply by then, but any of those initial 3 or 4 will be okay. So after Spirit of Helsinki, it's Outlaw, Neptune, Penjuik 6, and so on, Eureka, etc. So that's how that side of it works. Okay, I think we're not a lot to say. They've only been out for not even. Oh, they've been out for not even a day yet. So we're picking it as best we can. So the plan now is that we've been wrapping everything up here, doing some reports, talking to people, and so on. And then we fly. Jane and I and Ada fly tomorrow. Then Georgie and Jack, they're on the way in a couple of days. So I'll do the tracker again tomorrow about this time, might be a little bit earlier. And then there'll be a hole. There'll be no tracker until we get into La Sable d'Olonne at midnight on the, we fly on the 6th or 7th, midnight on the 8th in French time. That's when we arrive in La Sable d'Olonne, and we haven't seen the place for about 3 months. It'll be a nightmare, but we should be rolling by the next day. So on the 9th, so you get the tracker on the 7th. Then on the 8th, we don't think we'll get one up. And we might do one at midnight on the 9th when I get in, something like that. But there might be a hole for 2 days while we're traveling. But it should be pretty straightforward. You can obviously come onto the tracker any time to see what's going on. It's not a lot to interpret when you're this short down the track, just over the first few days. The weather is pretty fixed. It's trade winds and the positioning of the South Atlantic high. Very easy to see. So it's not as if you're going to be missing out on anything, but that works well for us. Okay, so let's see who's here. People probably aren't used to being back on here, so I know there's a few people there. Paul, good afternoon. G'day, Keiki, how are you? G'day, Kathleen. Oh, we'll be back and doing merchandising soon. We're just talking about summarising the bulkhead plates. There's going to be a few bulkhead plates that are available to people, as well as T-shirts, hats, and bits and pieces as a package. So we're sorting that about 3 or 4 days after we get back to La Sable d'Olonne. So keep an eye out for that. Sorry to hear about Explorer. Oh, it's okay, and they'll have a good story. I'm not sure what that story is yet. Strong boats and everything's fixable, so that's fine. And we're not expecting big damage, but I think it's a bit more than polishing it out. That's the short story. I was surprised to see shells on the bottom of the boat of Explorer. I'm not picking on Explorer. I could just speak freely because I'm involved. But everyone had pretty clean bottoms, and I thought they were going to do something because I don't have a lot to do with the boat when it's here because I'm so busy with organising the race, obviously, working with everyone else to keep things happening. And so it's all up to Mark and Terry, the chief mate. Anyway, they did a good job, and I thought everything was fine. And then I looked on the bottom of the boat, and we were right next to it. And there's the little tiny, like pimple shells all across. They're not really barnacles, but there's a heap of them. And I'm not sure what will happen in the warm water now, but it's certainly a bit of drag, so that's not working in their favour either. But they're all doing a good job, and they're all having fun, and that's what it's all about to a degree. So no complaints anyway. Okay, so yep. Morning from New York. G'day, Jeffrey. G'day from Oxford. G'day, Jonathan Lewis. Sorry if I missed it, but any penalties for crossing the line early? No, in actual fact, when I said that when I was doing the live, we were watching for the cannon. We wanted to get the puff of smoke. And then as soon as that was done, of course, we had to turn around and then try and catch up, and it was pretty rough. But my first impression was that Helsinki either was first across the line or broke the line and went for it. We used a Vero. Vero was from the club here, was the man watching the line. He had a good view. He actually videoed it from the other side, and he declared it clear. Now, there's something interesting here. Some of you may have noticed that it would have looked different if you followed the tracker. You can zoom into the tracker, and you can actually follow the boats across the line. But the actual line on the day was a little bit different from that was set up on Yellow Brick. And that was because of the conditions and a few other issues as well. So we're not worried. They've all got away clean. Vera was very confident about that. And so no one broke the line first, no penalties at all. So there was only, I think there was one boat. There was only one boat that took a voluntary time penalty for sails, which was White Shadow, Jean-Christophe. They broke their forestay, and that swung around and chopped up their mainsail, which really had to be done at the sailmaker. So they took a 12-hour time penalty for repairing their mainsail. Everyone else was clean, and they're underway. So that's all kind of cool. Oops, I went the wrong way there. So that's good. Good day from Oxford. Jonathan, yep, just answered that. John, is Ada back on the OGR team? Yeah, Ada was with us yesterday, which was really fantastic. I was very happy to have her back. She does a great job, and adds a bit of a dimension. So that was a guest appearance, a one-off for now. And let's just see where we're at when we go forward. But yeah, she's a great supporter of the OGR, and it'll be great to see her back if we can sort that out for going forward. So let's wait and see. Kathleen, home in France, close to close to getting your OGR hat. No worries, Kathleen. Yeah, we can talk about that. It's all going to happen. Who is the sailor who fell overboard? We have no idea. As I was saying at the beginning, we haven't had an official word from Penduit yet. We've sent a request to the whole fleet. At the time when it was happening, there was some confusion. We were on standby. Aviro was the one. We're working together, but because Aviro's local and he works with the yacht club, and they're linked in with the various establishments here, Aviro was on top of it. He immediately alerted the prefecture, who have control over certain assets here. We couldn't go out. We were on standby. We were hovering in not a convenient place, but we stayed there for a while Aviro tried to go forward. He had a bigger rib than us, and it got too hectic for him as well. So there was some confusion, and we're yet to find out exactly what the situation was. But the first thing we noticed was that the fleet kept sailing. So that means whoever it was that went over got recovered, and I'm assuming there was no injuries and so on, and we don't know who it was. So all must be well, and as soon as we find out, we'll let you know. Okay, so huge lateral spread in the fleet. Yeah, it is. After such a short time, it's quite interesting. But that's the beauty of not having routing systems and computers, where everyone follows the best routing system declared by the computer. You know, these are humans making decisions, and that makes it really fun. Okay, that's it. So I'll see you tomorrow sometime. It could be a bit early. It could be around 12 o'clock, like about an hour earlier than this local time. But we'll get a tracker up tomorrow. Then there might be nothing for 2 days. If we've got a stopover and I can get online, we may do a tracker from the airport. But if not, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again tomorrow.